waxa maqlay gabar oo tiimkii ka mid ah oo fiidiyoada la duubaysay oo la qabay oo reerkeeda dumiyaa waay
okay caasho
rumiya sheekadaas
ayas
wallahi de
wallahi
ninkaaga waxa isku furteen
youtube ka dartiis
waay
waa rafraftay yacni jugtii iyo yacni jugtii dhulkan ku dhacay qoftaan qolka ku soo gashay anoo dhulka oo la bii aragtay way qabatay waxay u dhacaasho maxaa ku dhaca caloosh maxaa wax kaa soo gaaray naaqol guriga iga baxoo dhahay wasaqad baa tahay gabadhuu ku dhahooyaa gabadhaana way igu dhigtaani soo wax istiraa qofkan wax naaqsan yahay amuu dilaa wayna ogtay inaa uur lahaa weli ma u sheegin hadalka waxaa raba inaa sabrays camal uga dhigo
maxaa faamilka soo celin weyseen oo dadaal weyseen
ninkaas nin madax adag anoo weecay maxaa
youtube sama isku tiimaan wadatiin soo dhawaada ridwaan saa podcast soo dhawaada gabadhan ka bilaabaya soo dhow
wadhowahe
magacaaga
Aisha
gabadhan kula socotana Nawaal iyo Aisha wiilasha ayagana
aniga Caamir ali dhahaa adigana
zamilkiisi
youtube cusubati okay youtube maxaa ku qoran
zamilkiisi
بدل لو لا هذا يسنا لكن ممدود يعني كاس لو يبرر
لما
أنا حتى ممدود لكن
هذه جوراتك صلاة بسطة نور وسكستو
هذيك صلاة كتير
أنا قفكي صلاة كل ما أركنا مدوان
هذا جبر مدو يبيل مدو بيلك ليسي مدو محاول أيوة لو بسلم مدو
لما لا أنا مدو هذا جبر عذر هذينا
جبر مدو دوخة كمان
مايا وينقو كرتها لكن أنا جسان أنا وهاب كان أفكريه حاول ساس وايو هدان جبر مدو راديو أنا جيو مدو المودو مدو عن ليا لكن هدي أن جبر عد أو نلشة ما أركنه
لكن سيكو جانس قولني عدى المعلومة ولا سوى عدى موت ما ينفع نو
ما
لما لها
دواء الاستعمال ما
قفتني عدى أملين إنسان لكن مركي دلني زي مدو بيد معنا
لما لها معناها دولا
هذه عدانا كقلد دوحة لذي ما وهيلي على المكت لو بدو واحدة ليه ما حسوا بحال مركزي
ما يبغى
بس هو ويديني سا أوريجينال ما لهذا مثل
معناها الدمر كرت مد بانكو شيء دمر كمرك كوي إسعادية يكوه كودلت كأ ولا ويكل إهين
مالكلاسة
ويكلا تاي ويكلا تاي
وصحنا ميلان وكلت من مدوة إنه
رمية
حذنا قعمها
أوكي وصحن تاي وصحن تاي
لكن أنا عملت أوريجينال
هذا مو دلتي مزه
أوريجينال يعني والتريما بين أوريجينال هي
كعمها حاجة مدوبين مياه ساندي
عمها مدوي
ليك أي أنت كمان مدوي
تنا حدو إذا كعمها مدوي كلها
مدوي مجدد فيري أنت
ما
أنا
مو مدوي
أوريجينال بايس ده وجهي والتريما تقانا يعني عايز كذيك
أوكي ساس الوكالة كسادة
أوكي
لك أي قرح حتى مواد كيسن كران ويجذودنا يعني داوس دي ويان حتى ويجذودنا يعني وجهي وذا سكروا نقنا لك أنا عادي هذا
هذه هو إذا يا أبوها مد عدمية
أنا وذي عرب إيوه
عرب والصحة ما هي ولا
والله
علن كاغابو تامية
أبي سومالي أبي مراعن
سبلا دي هو إذا عرب سومالي صح؟
يمن
أشرل هذه
مركز برني كدي حال ده أنا ما
أفرق فاكو ما هذا حق سوى بدين تيناتي
ما بدنها
ما عملك تين
هذه سيدنا قارنا
waxa maqlay gabar oo teamkii ka mid ah oo fiidiyoada la duubaysay oo la qabay oo reerkeeda dumiyaa waay
okay caasho
rumiya sheekadaas
ayas
wallahi de
wallahi
ninkaaga waxa isku furteen
youtube ka dartiis
waay see waxa ahay
wallahi maxaa la dhahay horta koodii hore ani hami way iga jirta youtube camal hamigayga inta ani asi isbaran camal
adi iyo
aniga asiihaa intaan isbaran soo youtube inaan samaysto waa rabe hamigay way ku jirtay koowaad horta intiisan guur la gaarin soo wiilkaan isbaranay markaan isbaranay kadib maxaa la dhahay an xamar isku guursanay markaa intaa imaaday aan marka inta cidna maka aqaanin
Nairobi
yes marka imaanay cidna maka aqaanin soo asaa i keenay bis adii muddo fiican ninkayga keenaa asaa soo afrika ka shaqeynaya
inta isku guursteena tiri
xamar xaggaasa isku guursanay markaan isguursanay kadib adii shaqada iyo inuu shaqada xagga ka imaado inta imaado ku adkaatino so maxaa dhahay uu imaaday safaraan soo galnay inta imaanay inta markaa imaanay adii muddo fiican anagoo isla joognaa so asigana wuu bixi jiray bas xaafadda xoogaa ku caajisa mogtee soo gabar walaashiisa waxaan dhahay asaa igeey wuxuu igu dhahay cilaansaarka iyo make-upka waxaase ka shaqaystaa bas gabadhaasaa iskala joogi jiray meeshaasaa u tegi jiray so xoogaa ani make-upka wax yar xoogaa ku fiicanahay bas anoo meeshaas jooga habeenada ka mida yani xoogaana aniga asi isku dhacnay abaayadiisaa u imaaday gabadhaana marka meesha imaatay aroos ay waxaasii lahayd meesha imaatay xoogaa waa isla sheekaysanay bis make-up yaxaasaa loo mariyay way baxday lambaradaa kala qoranay marka gabadhan lambaradaa kala qoranay lambarada markaa kala qoranay soo anagoo bil isnaqaano isku fiican oo marna ay imaanayso mar u tagaayo gabadhan xaafadeeda mar u tagaayo marna aan ii imaanayso xataa haweenada qaarkood gurigay ila joogi jirtay guri cidlo waaye asigu iska baxay moo cidnana ma joogtaan iyo asi bis baa degnin gabadhana caawo ii imo waan ku dhahee gabadhan bis way ii timaaday habeeni way ila seexatay way ila joogi jirtay soo habeenaa waxaa soo wacday gabar inaabtigeed camal wax isku yihiin kadibna waxay tiraahday nawaal soo bax kaala aroos baa jirta noo imo camal
ayadoo markaa kula joogtaa
anagoo isla wada joognaa bis hay diyaar waayo laakiin gabaraa isoo raacaysa tiraa mana kasoo hari kara waa aniga marka aniga waxay tiraa aroosaa aadaynayo waxaaseeto hay diyaar waayan dhahay leano meeshaan cidna ma ka aqaani mooho ayadaa igu soo sukaysay iyo dumaashidee dadkan ka aqaani dumaashideena xoogaa saas ma isku fiicneen jasti ninkaana baray bas harow gabadhaan waxaan dhahay diyaar waayo meeshaan saaloonka aadnay makeup iyo waxaas iclaanaa kasoo marsanay waa soo baxnay arooska imaanay arooska markaa imaanay soo wiilkaana isbaranay
wiilka
Sometimes I just want what I want right now, you know?
muzamila isbaranay muzamil iyo wiil kaloo akram la dhaho oo isla socday kuwa kale laakiin wiilkan kumuusan jirin bas wiilka saas markaa isku waa isbaranay soo tin waxaa u muudaa qoftan inay is yaqaaniin oo arooska yani arooska waxaa qoftan tiimka kale oo ayada maxaa la dhahay in habaryarteediyo uu wiilkan la socdinoo soo way ibarto xtira wiilka muzamila la dhahaa iska baro asxaabane wax saas camala okay aan dhahay meesha isku baranay lambaraa la kala qortay arooska waa la joogo waa la baashaalay meelaha 9 saac habeen markay aheeda waxaan dhahay waa baxayna keen waa isoo raacnay gabadhan xaafadda imaanay harow adi bil kadib oo wiilkana isnaqaano baa gabadhan waxay ii soo bandhigtay inaa YouTube la duubo anna kowdii hore noloshayda koowaad hami waa ka lahaa inaa YouTube aan duubto
yani social media soo geshido youtuberad iyo wax noqotay
marka waxoogaa yani haddanina iqabay markaas waqtiyaasa imaanaya suu igu daalinaya daan waxaas gabadhaanu xoogaa uu igu adkayso xidhaada ilo maanta i raacaysaa hayaan dhahay
ayada mar kasta ku yar pressure gareynayso
yani waxay tiraahday gabdhaha meesha ku jira xoogaa dadaa safar naga galay sida naajuu mid la dhaho safarii gashay naajuu gabadh la dhaho safarii gashay soo gabdho xoogaa aysan si fiican isku fahansanayna meesha jooga gabadhaana aniga si fiican isku fahanay dad oo yacni walaalo camalaa noqonay dhigdhigan waa dhigaana linkigii baa dhigay dadka inay
wasabkan saaranaysiin dadka inay ku dhuftaan oo indaawadaan arabtiin
anna ilaahay uridis waaba ilaababa waxaa u mooday inaaba u sheegay haye wuu arkay marka mana i weydiin anna ma u sheegin markuu aan arkay wiilkan qofkan xataa like buu ii saaray loofuu ii saaray
statuskii
anna marka waxaa is dhahay way kuu dhacnaatay oo waxba ma lagu dhahay camal waa ogolaaday isdhaha waa iska dhaafay faraha ka qaaday samaan labaadkii kale haddana video way iisoo direen kadib ani markaas videogaas mala duubin iyo way iisoo dhigeen saa ani asxaabteeda u dabagalaan whatsappka igu jira haddana like kale ii saaray markuu xasdaayo waa caadi habeenkiina caadiya u wada sheekeysanaynay waxaa waa nafisa maxaana waxaa ka cabsanayso gurigu imaaday
يعني ninkii soo safray miya
haa gurigu igu imaaday nawaala sikadiisa igu imaatay guriga mana u sheegay ninkayga inuu imaaday kadiisa igu imaatay caasha ay dhahdo saa waxay aragtay asoo joog way isba barteen cabaar waa la fariistay waa la shaaxay waa la joogay soo ii wacday jikada ugu tagay waxay dhahaa caasho muzammil iyo tiimka waxay rabaan video inay duubtaan oo guriga ku duubtaan camal soo gurigeena waasic waaye ma fahantay
ninkii marka videoga hore aad duubtay waxba kaama dhihin
waxba ma iga
no
dhihin
comment no
haa
nothing
wax igu dhahay ma jirto yacni mana dhihin maxaa u duubtay mana dhihin ma igu qaqayleenin ani marka waxaas dhahay waxaas caadi waa soo ayadan waxaa ku dhahay diyaar waayaa ku dhahay qoftaan ilaa abradis musamil
يعني qoftan waxay ku tiri marka
maxaa la dhahay wiilasha waxay rabaan
video
inaa video duuban videoga maaragtay oo afka la iska xiraayo qofna dhegaha wax loo gelinayo keega la sameynayo
challenge camal
challenge-gaasaa rabnay inaad duubno
gurigaaga marka meesha ugu habboonayna
haa yacni guriga sayid uu weyn yahayno
okay
wax bay lama ahayn waa u tegay marka asaa u tegay marka asi u tegay waxaa ku dhahe arrintaasaa jirta saasaa jirta maxaa la dhahay gabadha wiilalii gabdho u imaanayaan video meeshaan raba inay ku duubtaan maalintaas hadduu diidan yahay inuu macnihii uusan rabin inaa meeshaan ka haro soo maalintaas wuxuu idhihi lahaa noocaasho ka joog ma geli kartin idhihi laheeno
صح
wuu fiiri wuxuu igu dhahay saas miyaa haye waayahe ana
ايوه wuxuu ka wada yani diyaar ku sameeyay
haye samayso buu dhahay
okay
hayaan dhacna wiilashaan iyo dadka dhan oo la isku keenay meesha waa la wada joogay anagoo meesha saa u fadhina oo ilaahay mardiis saas anagoo u fadhina uu ii wacay wuxuu igu dhahay goormay baxayaan cabaarka dibay baxayaan saa u dhahay bas haye waayo guri way ka tageen
asaa ku dhahay gortay
haa yacni goormay baxayaan dhaheen yacni sayid u daaheynaysa waxaan dhahay haddii baxayaan istiji haye wiilasha xataa wuu bartay waa kuwana hadda way fadhiyaan markaas maalintaasaa wiilkan imaaday wiilkaana maalintaas baranay soo wiilashaan dhan wuu isbarteen sidii nimanka ragga camal u hadlaan way issalaameen waa la kaftamay bes hadalladu isku dhidhaayeen ma aqaani waxba isku shushubeen kadib wuu baxaasi
yaa baxay
asaa baxaaya
ma wuxuu baxaya wiilashana joogaan mise
maya dadka dhan oo joogaan uu baxay yacni baxitaan huuha maahaya yacni maxaa la dhahay meel yar uu gaaraaye
okay
bes hadhowtaan kadib wuu soo laabtay laakiin markaas wiilasha maysan joogin cidna maysan joogin gabadhan bes baa joogtay soo gurigana waa guri weyn qolol badanay lahayd soo qol iyadu seexan jirtay markii la joogtay ay seexatay soo bes wuxuu igu dhahay haye ma dhammaysatay haa waa dhammaystaan dhahay soo fadhiiso arrinaa kaa leeyahay marka arrinta youtube-ku igu furay wuxuu igu dhahay inta badan oo maxaanii aan ku arkayay maantii aan maxaa la dhahay koowaad aad saa sameynaysay waxba kuma dhihin maalin labaad waxba kuma dhihin maalin saddexaad kuma dhihin maantayna saasaa jirta maxaa dhacay saaxaan dhahay ani waxaas dhahay dhe markii arrintaad aragtid yacni waa igu raacaysaa isma dhihin yacni qofkan kaa soo horjeesanaa
Fiber-powered connection without the contract situationship. We love that for you. Join Welo.com.
At Chamberlain University, we know nurses are at the heart of the Columbus, Ohio community. And that
soo wuxuu dhahay kowda hore anima ii sheegtuu dhahay maani ii sheegta xoogaa dagaalkii hayway dhacday raali noqaan dhahay waa maslaxii haye waayu dhahay dhib malaa soo hadda ma ku qanacsantahay inaa youtube-kan ku socotid oo dadkan aad daba socsocotid marka waxaan dhahay anigu hadda wax khaldan ma sameynooyi haddana waxaan ku dhahay dad oo maanta isqaba oo maxaa la dhahay dad isqabo reer dhisanaya baa maantayto youtube leh youtubena wax weyn ma aha waa wax iska easya caadi iska dhig intuu i fiiriyey haye waayu dhahay
yani markuu ku weydiiyey wax ma kusii socon doontaa
ha ma kusoo socotaa waxaan dhahay anigu waa rabaan dhahay hamigayga koowaadi ahayd
okay
waana jeclahaan dhahay so saasaa rabaa baan dhahay haye waayu igu dhahay bal waayahay bal hayaan dhahay waa iska dhaafo waa iska seexanay caadi bis qofkan wuu baxay safar uu galay marka
waqti
kadib oo wiilashaana aan iska joognay laakiin anna haddana isdhahoyo qofka aan muraali ka ahayn ayagana markasta muzamilu isoo wici jiray caasho maanta barnaamijaa leenahay noo imo abuu maatay xanuunsanaha dhihi jiray ma fahante soo maalinta dambe ilaa madis ani waxay iga qabatay in caajisaa guri ku dareemay waa iska xanuustay qoftaana u wacay qoftaa markaa u wacay way ii timaaday xoogaano iska caajisan iska xanuunsanay aragtay hadhow bas way ii timaaday soo an waxay dhahday caasho yacni ama maxaa la dhahaye ama uur leedahay dhahday so anugu intaa ku qoslay waxaan dhahna hooy uurkaaga ma ahay joog shakiyaa i galay soo waxa aadnay maxaa la dhahaye meel isbitaala aadnay isbitaalka markaa aadnay waxaa igu soo baxday yacni inaa aan leeyahay camal
inaad leedahay
uurka inaan leeyahay camal aa igu soo baxday bis hadhowta asiina u sheegaa rabay guri igu imaaday guri markuu igu imaaday markaas waxaa joogtay qoftan iyo maxaa la dhahay wiil kale walaalkeeda iyo wiilkaaneeto ay isla socdeen
wiilkan maxaa la dhashay
gabadhaan u dhashtay
okay
so ay isla socdeen way imaadeen
aday ku imaanayaan
ani ii imaadeen
laakiin yani sheekada waa sii wadan doontaa guriga laakiin soo iska maamulinaysa adi
anaa
dadaa keensata gabdhaha iska seexta
anaa ku sheegay
naftaada kastoo guriga
anaa ku sheegay guri anaa liigu qaba maaha so anaa liigu qabaa maxaa la dhahay gurigayga waayo qofkaa rabaa keensana maaha familkayga asxaabteedu ii imaan karaan asigana wuu iga maqan yahay qof ii wehelyeelaysa ma jirto
okay waa gartay marka uura kugu soo baxay
haa uur markuu igu soo baxay yacni gabadhan iyo walaalkeedii waxaasaa imaadeen meeshaa la wada jooga asaa imaaday markaas
yamaanay
ninkan
asaga soo afrika sidii hoos la aadaya iska aadaya kasoo labanaya muxuu ahaa
asuu shaquu leeyahay wuu shaqaystaa maaha
may haddee south africa waa dheerta qofka halkiisuna hormar imaan kara laakiin
way sax
waqtigii baxay iyo waqti uur kugu soo baxay iyo waqtigu soo laabanaya intee u dhexeeda macna
يعني حوا في ما يعني ما هدي أديك كديجو إن وقتي حوا ويفوجد نو حوا ويكل فوجد لكن أنا وحس له يا وقتي يسوع أنت سوبقنا أنت دي لا
شيء كذا سو جامد
ها
أوكي
سوقفت أنا ويل ولا كذا أنا سو وعي وحده هاي إن حاجة جوك تحافظ عاشة هاي ماشي كنت على وشكتي ويلو مركز صوبتي
إسلام عارنتي مين
ها يعني قفت أنا wiil oo in adeerkeeda kadis maanta ku imaanayay so qoftan waa la soo wacay waxay dhaysaa hadda imaana marka isbitaalka joognay so wiilkana wuxuu dhahay waa ku imaana ilo xagee joogtaa bas way imaaday mise wuxuu wadaa wiilkaasna ani ma aqoonin qoftan way is arkeen meesha xoogaa sheeko oo fahmimo
gurigaaga
ka dhaca haa yani maxaa la dhahay waa isku xawaa waa la sheekaystay wax sheeko caadiga بيسكا شاكستين كدب بس حلو نينكا ان مركز كدب اديو عرو بورك مركا اسكو اركايو يو مركو مقناعدو waxaa usoo dhaxaysay 3 bilood camal
marka xanuunsanaysa
يعني marka aniga gabadhan u sheegay iyo ninkayga intuu maqnaa waxa yani u dhaxaysay 3 bilood
okay
u dhaxaysay
okay
bas kadib maxaa la dhahay asoo marka anaga fafadhina oo meesh yani iska joogna oo wiilashaana bixi rabaan soo gabadhaan waxay dhahaan anima bixi kari gabadhaaneeto ma ka tegi kari xaaladeeda saas waaye soo ma ka tegi kari dhahday ninkeeduna wuu ka maqan yahay marka abaayana way ogtahe bas haye qofkan markay saa u baxeen oo yacni sas u baxeen baa mindhaa labadaas waxay isku soo arkeen wiishka kiigu kuwaan iyo ninkayga guri waxa u imaada qoftaanoo fadhisa anagoo fadhino oo maxaa la dhahay meesha wax lagu cunay qoftaan waa hagaajinaysa anoo meesha iska fadhiya wuu imaaday albaabka soo garaacay ka furaan dhahay so maxaa la dhahay ayadoo dhaysa dumaashi maanta kadiisaa ku timaaday iyo waxaas so wuxuu dhahay guri ani ma lihi miyaa yani hadalo kulkulul marka wuxuu igu dhahay soo kaco igu dhahay arrinaa raba inaan kaala hadlo
isla maalintii waa marka adnu waa yar xanuunsan tahayba
anoo xanuunsanahay
okay
hadalkii ma ku bilaabay seeta ma laydhiin xaaladaada maxaa jira maxaa kugu soo kordha wax laydhahay ma jirto wuxuu igu dhahay muddada hadda kaa maqnaa way dhahay arrin baa kasoo fikirayo dhehe arrintu waxay waaye maaha arrintu waxa weeye furiinkeena waa yaaba waana qoslay yacni waxaas dhahay ama baranki tahay saxan dhahay ama baranki ah igu sameynaysaa no caasho ani maxaa la dhahay soo afrika gabar joogtaan is arkoonay gabadhaasaana jeclaaday soo inaa adig kaa tagaa rabaa.
Protect your dreams under our roof.
Isn't this the dream, Grandpa?
American Family Insurance.
saanta u fiiro xandhay oo way kala tikaan imaanaysaa ilaa afru ku baneey waa aroosi kartaa waay aniga furiin iyo bakbakdaas iigu keenaysaan ku dhahay wuxuu igu dhahay ani waqti iima haysid saan waaye kani ka dhacda saxandhay waryaa habeen iyo maalin yacni waxaa ku dhahay habeen iyo maalinba adaa kula hadlooyaa waqtigan kuu haynin waaxay marna gabadhaanu soo hadal qaada marka mana nala joogto anu adduunkan waxaa ugu necmaa qof aan nala joogo ina lacaayo ma jecli wuxuu dhahay dhuucis xuntaa oo meeshaas kuu joogtana iyo dadka la socda nina ha kuu noqodaan saxan horta dadkaas inta dhigaan dhaha yacni asxaabteyda waa inta ii dhigaan dhaha aniga adigana dad isqabo maanta reer dhisanayaan nahe shaydaanka iska naar caadi iska dhig fariiso aan caadi u wada hadalno soo gacanteeda waxaa is dhahay gacantiisa uu qabo i kala tuuray yacni si oo waa taqaanaa ninka ragga gacantiisa ma laga kaco saan xataa maaya wuu i warfiyey saasuu igu tuuray marka miis oo qolka ii yaalay ba caloosh ku dhufsaday caloosha jugtaan ku siistay xoogaa xanuunaa dareemay waa rafraftay yacni jugtii iyo yacni jugtii dhulkan ku dhacay qoftaan qolka ku soo gashay anoo dhulka oo la biya aragta way i qabatay waxay u dhaca caasho maxaa kuu dhaca caloosh maxaa wax kaa soo gaaray naa qolka guri iga baxuu dhahay wasaqad baa tahee gabadhuu ku dhahooyaa gabadhaana way igu dhigtaani soo waxay tiraa qofkan wax naaqsan yahay amuu dilaa wayna ogtahay inaa uur lahaa weli ma u sheegin hadalka waxaa rabay inaa sabrays camal uga dhigo laakiin kadiisu ku imaada saanaana dhacday gabadhan way kicisay waxay i geysay maxaa la dhahayay qolka fadhiga ii geysay cash maxaa ku dhacay caloosh maxaa kaa dhacay gabadhu gacanta intuu soo qabtay buu saa u halgaadino markuu sas u halgaaday gabadhan way soo kacday mooho xoogaa way caytantay kadib waxay dhahday guri iga bax buu ku dhahay ma ka baxayay tiraada gabadhanna maka tegaayay gabadha xaaskayga waaye waxaan doonaa ku sameynaa marka ma gabar oo ayadu sheegi rabta marka baani saas intaa u fiiriya gacanteeda saa u qabsadano way aamustay waxaan ku dhahay marka anigana tabarteyda dhanaa saayid daciif u noqotano hadhow bes qoftaaneeto way kacday waxay u wacday musamili u wacday waxay dhahan musamil xaafadda xaaladaa ka socotay kaale adiga asxaabta imaada maxaa dhacay waaye war ninkiyaa imaadoo gabadhu gacan u qaaday musamilaa soo bad wuxuu dhahay see gabar dumar gacan uu qaadi karaa ayo dumar waaye maxaa khaldan war qofta markaasi waxay u sheegaysaa musamil inaa uur leeyaa ayada uur leemaabuu gacan loo qaadaya haye asigii kan iyo wiil kaleeta is soo raacay xaafaddaa la imaaday albaabka sidii loo garaacay laakiin jasti markaasna wuu igu qayleynayay saa'id igu qayleeye xataa wuxuu isku dayay inuu gacan iga qaado oo haraantu igu dhudhuftay qofkaana imaaday wallaahi inuusan gacan xataa wiilkan uusan far intaas la eg uusan saarin asaa la dilay asoo la dilaaya haddana wiilashaana waxay isku dayeen in asi gacan loo yani in asi la qabtoo gacan loo qaado wuu celiy wuxuu dhahay gacan ha u qaadinina xoogaa markii meesha uu feefeeray wiilkaaneeto darisaanta isku soo baxday waa la kala qabtay markii la kala qabtay oo wiilka laga qabtay wuxuu qolkuu galay guduhu galay boorsuu soo saaray waa warqadda furiinka boorsuu soo saaray markaasuu anoo saa u oolo weji iga dhuftay gabadhaana soo booday saani warqadii u qabatay
warqad waa u qorneed miya markii hore
haa waaba mar hore waa mid mar hore tashtuu ahaaba qoftaana warqadii soo qabatay furiin aabay tiraahday ani gacmahaygo dhan baa barf i noqotay laano ani waxaa ka fikiraya marka fikirka igu jira waxay ahayd meeshaan cid ii joogta ma jirto oo waalidkay waan kasoo tegay ciddaydi waan kasoo tegay asaan u go'ay asigiina uu iga tegay meeshan cidna ma ii taagna oo maanta aan ku tashanayo aan isdhahayo nolola ka hele fikir anoo ku jiro oo saa u fiirinayo uu iga tege isla markaasa waxaan isku dareemay wax yacni qoyaan iga socda camal baheleedana saan ii qaada dir caddaana watay mise bahalka waxa iga halaysan dhiig waxay dhahday musamil cunugii wuu dilmay hadalkii ku celisay wiilkan iyo wiilasha intii qaadan waxa liigeeyey isbitaala liigeeyey
asiga ma ku qaadin
asi wuu baxay bee
wuu ka tegay ninka waa la dagaaltamay ma ku dhahay teed kala dabeecad ma hayno soo waxa uu soo qofta inuu furo iyo inuu dilo isku darsan rabay labadaba
wiilkan iyo wiilashan intii qaadan isbitaala liigeeyey asi marka maxaa la dhahay lambarkaygu wuxuu ku jiray telefoonkeeda dadna telefoonkeeda loo gaway taqaanaa way wacda marka way wacda ayadoo la hadlayso dhehaysa abow gabadhii maxaa la dhahay uuri lahayd saan waaye kan waaye kaale u imow gabadha way dhiig buxoosaaye aan isbitaalka geline soo wiilashaana waxay dhaheen maxaa ha u wicine anaga qarashka dhiibeyna iska dhaaf ayadoo la dhahay bay wacday soo wiilashaana qarashaadkii wixii musamil iyo wiilkaana mas-uuliyadda issaaray qarashaadkii wixii dhammaaday soo dhakhtarku wuxuu dhahay ilmuhu macnii biliis wuu yaraa haddana ani hadda ka horna jugjug iyo waxaasaa igu dhacay maraa maxaa la dhahay guriga asagoo biyihii waxaas intii waxaysa antidana aysan nadiifin baan ku siiban jiray soo xoogaa waa iska xanuunsanaa haddana jugta layuu sii daray bas ilmiyaa meeshaas iga dilmay wiilkan dusha mar saarteen gabadhan wiilkii ma wacday say tahaa loo caayino ilmaheed maxaa iga galay wax iga galay ma jirto ayada iyo ilmaheeda hays wataan wax yacni hadallo oo qaab daran uu ku hadlay ayadoo la hadlays wiilkaana ka qabtay wuxuu dhahay abuu horta shaydaanka iska naar si niman raga u hadlaynaayo kaale iimo soo waxaa la dhahay yacni nin raga inaad tahay animu ku aqaaniyaa la dhahayno marka anigu waa la ii sheegoyaa ani xaaladdu way igu xuntahay maba is ogiba kadib lee la iga sheekeynaya soo wiilashaana waxay qarashaadkii wixii markay dhiibeen ninkaana soo waxay isdheen guriga ku celiya dhakhtarka wuxuu dhahay hadda waa kaxayn kartiin markaan 2 beri guriga isbitaalka la joogay xataa iskuma dayin inuu isoo waco iskuma dayin xataa inuu xaaladda listi dadku way fureen hadda ma cusba anikooda iguma dhicin moogtahay 100 gabdhaa la furay markaas wuxuu dhahay furiinka markii dhacday kadib inuu xataa xaaladdeeda soo wareysta waaye laanu meeshaan uu ogyahay inaani aan dadna ka aqoonin oo qof kalena aan u joogin
marka ehelkaaga ma wicin
ehelkayga aan horta ma wicin been ma sheegaayo asiga ma wicin asigana anna ma wicin ani maxaa waca anaaba xanuunsane waxaa wacuba ma jirte ilaahay maradiis gabar kale oo tiimka ku jirta oo najuul la dhaho waxay tiraahday caasho markaa intaan guri imaan laakiin isbitaalka aan isdiyaarin waxay dhahday caasho maxaa la dhahay hooyo ayadee waaye ma wacna oo arrintan u sheegnaa soo ani ayadee neerfii qabtaa xisdhaami xanuunsataa mana la joogiya waxaa dhaha haddaa wicino xoogaan xaaladeeda markay fiicnaata anaa wacaya la socodsiinaaya hay hooyadaa ma wacaya soo hooyadeena xoogaa waxa weeye qof saayid u kulul anna haddana yaraanteeda ahay haddana yacni ayadana xoogaa waa ka cabsaday inay saayid u qayleyso ninka markuu gacan kuu qaadayay xagee ku maqneed ama xiskaa celinayso iyo xalaasaas camala
I wanted a trip I'd never forget. And it was everything. Dishes I'd never tasted before.
waa soo baxay guriga imaanay waxaa u tagnay gurigoo qufulan waa yaabnay soo cidiyo dariska mataqaanaa waa ogtay dabaqyada waxaa la dhahaa guriga waa laga baxay balaabalaadaas nimanka dhahayaan moogtay soo gabar dariska oo isku fiicnayna waxaan dhahay abaa guriga maxaa dhacayna waa laga guuraa la dhooya anna waa ekanaa ayaa guuray markaas wuxuu dhahay maalintii oo dagaalka dhacay habeenkiiba gabadha walaashiisa imaatayoo maxaa la dhahay waxay samaysay alaabtii oo aqalka bay iibisatay say u iibsanay baan dhahay anaaba iskale walaahi intaas moogi familkiina ka dhexaysa laakiin gabadhaasaa imaatay way iibsatay markay iibsatay ninkaana gurigiisa uu ka baxay furihiina wuu iska wareejiye saas mi ahaye walaashii baan wacay mabayga qabanayso mobel marka wiilashan iyo dadkan way imaadeen meeshaa wada taagtaaganahay ninka wacaa la dhahay أنا مدح أتكلم موعيان ده إنك يعني إسبتال كان كتير وسان أهاب أني من سبا وعاوي ويكانوا حو ده تلفون كنتو يقدفوا وحدانا وعي كلها موعي كرتدان ده أنا ديدن وعي وحكو ده هاي أبو محل ده هاي محاسس وسميسي ماشي دانك اسكنار تريركا وردقو ولا العاد اسكدي حتى وحال ده وحيدهن هذا حتى آذن ربين إن يوتيوب كدوبت تيم كانوا كريبينا سان واي كدا واي ويديدي وحوداي هبينا ربين مالنا ربين ماشي ربتها آدو آذنين unaqoodhaha marka wiilkana soo booday marka wiilka xawaa iska fudud yahay oo dadka hadalada aan u dulqaadan way wuxuu dhahay waraadi ninima kaama rabtee amaan balaaran iska sii idinka ay soo acteen la dhahay amaan balaaran sii waa la dhahay anaga walaal u ah anaga garabkeena taha shalayna way ahayd maantana way tahay oo wax ay kaaga baahan tahay ma jirto waxay cuntay wixii cabtay wixii xirato ma hooyo wixii ku faraxda anaga siinayna iyo ka badan ba ana adaan arki doontidaa la dhahay wiilkan anu hadlayo jaray markaas wiilkana wuxuu sameeyay ayadii buu wacay marka ayo wuxuu ku dhahayo istijinaysa arrinaa raba inaan kuu sheego aan marka waa ka cabsanayay arrintoo jirto waxaa weeye saas gabadhiisaana lagu sameeyey wixii dhan u dhaantaantay gabadheedu gacan u qaaday meesha imaatay see ku dhacday waxaas waxa ka daran sow ninkaa furiinuu dhiibay furiinka in laga soo celiyaa la rabaa ee reerkiisa uu dhisado gabadhaaneeta anagaa ka dhaadhicinayna inay ogolaato ayadana way ogtahay inaa hadalkeeda hadal soo dul saarayna oo yacni aan diidaynin waxay dhahday igu dhimo taamaa go-aansata shaaxa la karinayo sawaayad bes dadaa imaanaya waa la cunteena maqaayad cuntada camal haa
She didn't know. Today, we're gonna drive the Bugatti Chiron for the first time since the accident. Oh, no. We come so close in the last video to being able to drive it, but we did manage to fit the new interior and the new radiators, but there is one thing that stops us. Oh no. No. The radiator at the front failed our pressure test, which means that we weren't able to fill the car up with coolant. Now, Bob made these radiators from scratch because we weren't able to get them from Bugatti, but we think this one here, you can see the dent, we think that one got damaged in transit. But we've still managed to split the car in half, repair the gearbox mounting, put the car back together, start it for the first time, and replace all of the airbags. That is an Aston Martin airbag fitted into a Bugatti Chiron. But if we have any hope on getting this car running, then we've got to fix this radiator first. Right, let's pick up where we left off from, which was right at the back here. There is one coolant expansion tank reservoir here, and that is for the engine coolant. This is another coolant reservoir, and this is for the charge coolers. And also, they're gonna have radiators at the front as well. One of them has been made by Bob, the other one is original. We need to check the pressure on this as well, because if there is any leaks, we should fix it now before we start fixing the other radiators. So we're gonna put some pressure through this one, because we never got that far yet. And we'll see if any air comes out of that. Hopefully it holds pressure in that. Let's see. To do that, we need this mechanism here. Literally screws onto the coolant reservoir. And then we need this little mechanism goes onto the mechanism. And that will create a seal. Right. Now we're gonna pump and see if we get some pressure. Now I'm just literally pumping the air into the cooling system and hoping that it will hold the pressure. Because this didn't end so well when we did the engine side of the coolant. 10 psi, I think that should be enough. If we could hear a little hissing, let's go have a little search. And so far, so good. Can't hear anything coming from the radiators. It looks like that's holding. Good news. We double and triple checked them, but everything seemed good. So the only broken radiator was the one in the center, which was part of the engine cooling. So now, it's time to start dismantling it again and taking it all off so we can see how we can repair it. First off, removing the top hose, the bottom hose. This is of the radiator in front. Then we need to go underneath the car and remove the right-hand side hose and the left-hand side hose of the radiator, which is underneath, which is actually the one that's damaged. Then we can unbolt the lower mountings, go back onto the top to unbolt the upper mountings, and after that we need to remove the 2 overflow pipes, one for each radiator. Then we can pull them away from the car whilst my dad unplugs the fans. That's definitely been dropped on that, innit? 100%. And you can see how it's damaged. There's a dent right there on the branch of the radiator. So now all that's left to do is separate them both, and then we can see how we can fix it. And I think I know just the guy. Bob!
Hi.
It's broken.
It's bent.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's definitely had impact. It felt like it were coming from the inside of the core there.
So the way they're made, they're dipped in some magic stuff and then baked. So the seal along the side of the core is tough, but it's very, very thin. So if it does take an impact, the metal around here is very strong. So get that pushed in there and it just breaks the seal around.
Oh, okay. How are we going to fix it?
I've brought a core with me.
Oh, we're going to re-core the whole thing?
Yeah.
So does that mean you've got to take these tabs off and everything?
And put them back on the right side.
Right, let's recore, and I think we've got some more stuff that we need to do as well. Right, Bob, round 2. Let's do it. So essentially, what Bob's going to do is cut off this section of the radiator. This is the part that took the longest to actually make. The core he just bought from a shop for about £180. Whilst Bob cracks on with that, we can now put back in the Bugatti washer bottle because all of this carbon has been all fixed and replaced. All these little jobs now are really time consuming. And there is going to be little parts of this Bugatti that we're going to need, like shrouding and plastic covers, and they're going to take a long time to make. But at the minute, I just want to concentrate in getting this car running without any warning lights on the dash. And meanwhile, Bob has cut the tank off the radiator. You can't really see any obvious damage there.
The fins are damaged there because I just cut through the side of it and the saw blade hit the fin.
What if I told you HPV vaccination was for men too?
Oh, that sucks. Is it just a case of putting this on the other one?
Well done.
And Bob has brought with him an entire new radiator core. So he's just got to weld the tanks off the other one onto this one. Next step, I think we can do, we're just doing all these little tiny bits, which are very time consuming. This fuse board here took a beating in the accident, and I managed to find that they were off a Lamborghini Gallardo. This is a Lamborghini Gallardo fuse board. I'm going to switch this out onto there. Let's start switching them over. Luckily, most of the parts that have been broken on this Bugatti have been interchangeable with other parts on other cars. Just like this Gallardo fuse box. The only thing that isn't interchangeable was the cover that goes over the top. The Gallardo doesn't have one, but the Bugatti did. So that's something that we're going to have to make. But for now, the fuses are in and Bob's ready to weld on the tanks onto the core of the radiator. He lines them all up, tack welds them onto each corner, and then the proper TIG welding can begin. Remember, all of this is aluminium, and it takes a very precise welding, which is really hard to get right, which is exactly why I've got Bob to do it. Once he's done that, he's got to cut the tabs off the old radiator core, because these have got to go on the new one because these support the fans. And that is one radiator pretty much complete. You join me at the back of the Chiron, and what we actually noticed previous set is this is a secondary air pump. Blows air into the exhaust to cut emissions on a cold start, load of weird stuff. It's not really needed, but sometimes it can make it misfire from cold start. And this one was always missing. We don't know why. We don't know why that was taken off, and I still don't know why it was taken off. Obviously we can't order one, so we had to cross-reference this one, and what I found is one of a Volkswagen Passat, I think it was. Now that is exactly the same as that, but I have noticed a small issue is that the air filter which clips on here and the air filter goes on there, that sucks the air in, is slightly different. So I've had to order an air filter off another air pump, which should be arriving, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue of being able to fit this. I hope it's not handed left hand and right hand. So I'm going to take this one off this bracket, fit it to here, and then hopefully when we start the car, the next time, it should actually run really nicer, provided it's got fuel, because we forgot about that last time. Let's do it. These secondary air pumps only really start up when the car's on cold start, and it blows fresh air into the exhaust system so that it can try and heat up the catalytic converters as quick as possible. That way it reduces the emissions on the cold start. But I think if you've got a W16 engine, emissions isn't the first thing on your mind. But if we don't have these, it's likely it'll bring an engine light on the dash. Luckily, I found this one off a Volkswagen Passat and it fits straight in. All I need is the air filter for it, which should arrive later. Good?
Good, all good.
That's the next step, it's looking good.
Yeah.
Time for the ultimate test, the pressure test. Right, we're going to 14 PSI.
Is it the moment of truth?
Sorry, I went to 20 instead.
Straight to 20.
Bob's made the new radiator, and what we're doing now is pressure testing it off the car. We've blocked over all the exit ports of the radiator, and we're pumping air into one side to see if it holds pressure. 25. 31. 36. Yeah, it's just seemed like, I think we're good. I'm going to relieve it of some pressure before we all have an explosion in here. But that's good. Good work. Good start. It's a good start to the Miami trip from Bob. And although the rad didn't have any leaks, when we went to fit it up against the other radiator, something was wrong. What's happened there? A minute ago, these fitted.
He's thinking now. He's confused.
Can you see what's happened here? Look, so that line's there, and this now. Is this wide? Is this bit wider? What's happened? Yeah, that lines up good there. Look, hole goes straight through, no problem. That lines up there, and then this is only slightly off. Like I reckon the bracket could adjust. Oh, but this isn't quite.
No, it's bigger.
It's
They've
slightly
made it
big.
wrong.
What, they made the core bigger?
Yeah, it's 10 mil bigger.
Oh my god.
Oh no, oh no. It seems like the actual radiator core that Bob's brought over is 10 mil wider than the old one we had.
We'll find it.
Let's see if it singly goes on. Right. This might not be a problem as long as it fits in between the chassis legs.
Doesn't seem too bad.
And it looks like it does. So all we need to do is try and modify this radiator now so it will actually bolt on to the other rad. I think we could still make that work because these brackets, I remember they did have adjustment.
Rubber mounted anyway, so.
Yeah. I think it can still work. The good news is though, there's more cooling in 10 mil. It's got more chance of staying cool. So literally, yeah, tiny bit move in, tiny bit move in. We're nearly there, almost.
Cool, give me 20 minutes.
20 minutes of Bob welding. So Bob is now going to modify the brackets on this radiator so then it will fit against the other radiator. Because you can see that the new core measures in at 66 millimeters, whereas the old one measures in at 65. So whilst he's modifying that, I'm going to put on the rear bumper. The one thing that we can put on is the rear bumper because the rear bumper doesn't need to be painted, and I'll show you that in a second. So we're going to crack on at doing that. With the rear bumper on, it means the rear lights on as well, so at least we've got like a brake light and everything if we do end up going up and down the road. So, first step is the rear crash bar area. Unlike a normal aluminium or steel crash bar, the Bugatti has a sort of extended one with carbon fibre, and I dread to think how much this costs. But luckily, there was no damage to the rear of Alex's car, so the old ones could just bolt straight on. Next step is this sort of scoop for some kind of cooling or airflow which sits over the exhaust. Then it's time for the rear bumper. As you can see, none of it needs painting because the whole thing is completely carbon.
Cut this piece off because I need to move it 5 mil that way. But what I've done also is got a bit too close to his fitting. So I've thinned out the wall there and I'm afraid that might leak once it all goes back together. And it'll leak underneath that, which is no good to me because there's a hole in it that will come through and never be able to get to it in the future. So what I'm going to do first is seal this area, so when I put the fitting back on, or this thing back on, it'll be sealed under it so it can't leak.
Eczema is unpredictable, but you can flare less with Ebglyss. A once-monthly treatment for moderate to severe eczema that helps you spend less time managing your symptoms.
Ebglyss can deliver real and lasting results, like skin that's still more clear at 1 year.
Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Clearer skin. It's relief.
Bob is now making sure the wall won't leak once he puts the new fitting back on. Then he can clean up the fitting, put that 5mm closer, and then weld it to it. And whilst he's doing that, I'm now sliding on the rear bumper, because hopefully once this is fitted, we should never have to take it back off again, because the rest of the panels are going to be all painted. I've got to plug in all the electrical connections for the bumper, then this hose which goes to an air filter, and these electrical connections here, which won't be connected just yet, go to a computer in the rear quarter, which I'm not sure what it's for at the minute. Then I can go underneath the Bugatti and put in the final bolts which hold the rear diffuser to that air guide. The really good thing is that the Valvetronic guys managed to line up the exhaust perfectly with the rear diffuser without having the rear diffuser. So that is another stress off the chest, but that is pretty good. It's fitted to an extent. There's still more bolts and stuff to go in for the final fit, but that is good enough for now, and that is looking way more like a car. So far, so good. I think we might do the radiator next. Bob's done it. Modification of the nation. It's done. Oh, it's warm. Oh, it's really warm.
It's done until we find the next problem.
Yeah. Well, the next thing we're going to do is fit these radiators. So we're just bolting up the brackets again, which you've already seen, and then hopefully this is the time. Third time look at. Finally, the radiators have done. After a long battle of having to make and modify multiple times to get them right. It was never going to be easy, as I knew when I first took on this project. With Bugatti refusing to sell us parts, everything we were going to have to replace on this car was going to have to be made. And as you guys know, I'm no fabricator, so I've had to find a team who could make all these parts for us. The vacuum filler, aka Mr. Suck. And now Mr. Suck can go onto the coolant reservoir, and when that sits on there, it should suck out all of the air that's in the cooling system and hopefully hold its negative pressure. Bob's putting on the fitting for Mr. Suck, or we could call her Mrs. Suck. She could be Mrs. Suck. And Mrs. Suck is going to blow compressed air straight through there. That compressed air is going to get pulled straight through there, which is going to pull a vacuum inside the cooling system. Then we should see negative pressure build up in the cooling system. We're going to lock the taps off, and what we should hope is that it will hold the negative pressure. If it starts then creeping back up, we know we've got a leak somewhere. This is how we're going to fill the coolant, but we're hoping to test that it doesn't have any leaks with this as well. It's a little harder to find the leak if we do it this way, because it'll be sucking rather than blowing, but hopefully we'll have a clear answer when we start doing this. So on goes the air fitting across Mrs. Suck. Then we can open the tap and we should see negative pressure build up, or build down, whatever the correct terminology is. And we can see on the gauge now, slowly the gauge is rising, which means we're getting negative pressure. And you can see the hoses collapsing here. And if we have a leak, when we turn the tap off, the pressure will build back up again. But let's hope not. Okay, so we're at about -20. We'll see if that will hold its negative pressure. And we left it for a few minutes, and the negative pressure seems to be holding in the same tap. The final. Been driving it without.
Fahrenheit is 92 degrees Celsius.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Fine.
That is fine.
I'd expect
Yeah, it's come back down. It's come back down to 199. We're at 201. We've come back down to 199. Installed the Audi.
Next Level dog people give their dogs next level protection with NexGuard Plus. One and done monthly parasite protection against fleas, ticks, heartworm disease, roundworms, and hookworms. Used with caution in dogs with a history of seizures or neurologic disorders. Get next level protection with NexGuard Plus.
Yet another toothpaste that does not whiten. Girl, this one works.
A 3 airbag, and we've reinstalled the Bugatti airbags between our feet, and we want to make sure that they all pass the test on here because we need to get that airbag light off the dash, and we need to make sure it's safe for Alex because we know he's a responsible driver. Let's see why the airbag light is on. I wasn't expecting 3 faults, I was only expecting 2, but that's okay because the only 2 faults we've got in the airbag is driver front airbag crash sensor, and then front passenger front crash sensor as well, and then battery interruption igniter resistance too low. I'm unsure on that one, but I know about the front 2, and they're the crash sensors. The good news is that we've got no faults for the steering wheel airbag, passenger airbag, all of the airbags that we put in the car. There's no faults on here for that. So as far as the car knows, thinks, everything is all good here. The problem is actually outside, and we need to go to the outside to solve it. Okay. 3 faults in the airbag system. Let's get through them all. Those 2 front crash sensors, which are going to help us plug in to here and here. But we just don't want to plug the crash sensors in and have them loose because there's potential it could just reset off the airbags if we knock them. Those crash sensors go into a crash bar, which is on the front. And that was a whole issue in itself because the old crash bar was completely destroyed. To the point where it was hard to even tell what it was supposed to look like before the accident. This whole thing is so important because it holds the bumper, it holds the front splitter, it's literally the front end of the car. It holds the horseshoe at the front, it holds the alarm, the horn, the crash sensors, the bonnet lock. Like if one of these things is out of line, the whole car is not going to look right. The bonnet isn't going to go down, the crash sensors aren't going to work, and nothing's going to line up. And the hardest part about all of this is we don't have one to copy. This is the one that we can copy, and it's absolutely mashed up. So with a lot of the other stuff, the windscreen, the headlights, few people have offered to bring a Bugatti Persport down and we could 3D scan it. We've had a Persport down here to 3D scan the windscreen, the headlights, the actual screen on the top. But what they wouldn't let us do is this front crash bar because nobody, believe it or not, would let us strip their Persport apart so we could scan this. And without scanning one, it's going to be really hard to copy what this crash bar is supposed to look like. We spoke to everyone. And the first person we should have spoke to the whole time was Bob at the machine shop. We gave Bob the broken crash bar, and he was going to do his best to try and replicate it and then copy what he thinks it should have looked like. He said he spent over 60 hours making this full crash beam, using the same aluminium as Bugatti used, cutting it down, welding it, filing it, heating it, doing everything it takes to try and make this front crash bar work. He even had to copy the points where there was loads of mountains, putting in riv nuts and tapping in threads. The amount of work that's gone into this thing is crazy, but the end product is something I just couldn't believe. Oh yeah, that is insane. What the hell is going on?
Here?
What has gone on there? That is ridiculous. I'm not even gonna. How have you done that?
I just had a good guess.
There's no way. Look at the curve. Look at the curve. Look at the curve there.
Literally the same.
That is mad. Like genuinely, like how the hell I could understand the bottom bit. The bottom bit looks like it's not damaged. And I thought you were going to use the bottom bit and then weld off that. You've literally made an entire new one. Like, how does that even happen? Because we couldn't measure. Every person we spoke to, it just said it's going to be too hard for us because we can't 3D scan anything. We don't know how it's supposed to go. If this bolts up, do you think it's going to bolt up?
Yeah, I guessed them good.
If this bolts up, that is definitely worth a subscribe to Bob's channel, because Bob's going to release a video how he did this, because I'm still mind-boggled. I need to see the footage as well, because that looks crazy. I guess we won't know. Well, the first test will be to bolt it to that. The second test will be whether everything bolts to it perfectly, but it looks sick. Like, that looks crazy. Now, time to actually see if it fits up to the chassis legs. The moment of truth. That looks sick. It looks actually sick.
That is mad.
Malcolm, keep playing, see what happens.
How'd you come up with this world?
I've been playing there all my life.
Malcolm, keep playing, see what happens.
That is mad. We've never seen it like that. And do the bolt holes line up? Of course they do.
Straight in.
No way. That is actually nuts. Thank you, Bob. Got to be one of the best things you've done so far.
It was the most challenging thing, because the engine mount, that was just snapped, welded back together.
Yeah.
Radiators, we had something to measure. It was bent, but we had something to measure. I couldn't take a measurement off that.
It's actually starting to look like a car. Like, Alex ain't even seen this yet. He's going to be buzzing. It's not even my car. And that is a 10 out of 10 effort. And is most definitely worth a subscribe. All we need to do now is paint this thing. So that's what we're about to do. First step, I need to add etch primer. Because this thing is bare metal, I need to protect it to make sure it don't ever corrode, or the metal just exposed to the outside elements. Once that's on, then I can start adding the satin black. First layer on, couple more layers to go, and then finally the lacquer can go on. Once that's all dried up, I can then start transferring all the parts of the old crash bar onto the new one Bob's made. Okay, these are the crash sensors, and these should hopefully take off those 2 faults which we've got with the airbags. So these are off a Porsche. One goes in there like that. Okay. What those sensors do, when they get an impact, they tell the airbags to deploy, well, the front ones. And you have these sensors in the doors, in the back, and depending on which one gets hit, depends on which airbag goes off. It was that one that got hit in the accident, and I think that just triggered all the front airbags to deploy, as we found out. So it's really important that I tighten these down and they don't move around when we're driving the car, because it could trigger all the airbags to go off again. The crash bar is pretty much complete. There's a few more things to put on it, but I've only put the essentials on it for now to get it running and driving. Now to fit it up to the car and start putting in all the bolts to hold it to the frame. And so far it's lining up really well. Then I can start connecting up all the electrical connections like the crash sensors and the horn. And finally the bonnet latch needs to bolt in to the front crash bar as well. It's starting to look like a car. Look at this. Front end is on. It's the first type of fitment. Again, we're going to make some adjustments and everything. There's a few more things that need to go on, and the shrouding that needs to go on, which actually survived the crash. But for now, that is looking pretty sick. The bonnet latch is in place. Again, we're not going to know if everything's 100% until we get the body panels to put on and bolt on. So that's going to be like the sort of the moment we're not going to know about. Other than that though, It's looking sick. The radiators are fitting in, the crash bar is on. We've literally got last little bits now. The headlights are being done, the body panels are being done. But what I want to do is try and get rid of the warning lights on the dashboard, because the only sort of warning lights I think we should have now are for no headlights and just little things, nothing serious. So let's see if this has solved the airbag light. I know we had that outstanding one about the pyro fuse, which I want to check up on as well. But let's get the ignition on and see if we can clear those faults. Come on. Okay, what we got? Well, let's erase first and we'll see what comes back. 2 faults for the airbag, still. It's not good. That is not good. Okay, what have we got left? Okay, engine. Let's check the engine, because we'll have an engine light on if we've got a fault in there. EVAP emission control system pressure sensor input high. So that must be unplugged. That must be unplugged, whatever that is. EVAP emission control system pressure. Let's find out what that is. Turns out it's for a pressure sensor which sits just on top of the fuel tank. I think it's going to be unplugged. I can't see it being a fault with the pressure sensor in the fuel tank. Fuel tank's behind us. We've not had that out. We're going to have to look for something that's unplugged because of that. Transmission. The weird thing about the transmission, now all of these are passive faults, so they're not active. But for some reason, my reader won't let me delete them. But we have gone through the gears and it all works, but it won't let me delete them unless we have to drive it. The airbag one is the worrying one, because after I scanned the airbag control module again, I still had the same fault. Front passenger crash sensor circuit open. And battery interruption igniter, that's a pyro fuse. And that's the crash sensor on the front. There's got to be a broken wire or something. Let's go see if we can find something that's unplugged in the engine bay and a crash sensor on the front which has got a broken wire. I looked around the engine bay for a while, especially looking round near where the fuel tank is, because we know it's a pressure sensor which goes around there. But everything was really hard to see now that the car was put back together. But eventually, I did find something. I found it. And this is not good. That is not good at all. Okay. Okay, our goal was to drive the car. Our goal was to drive the car and get it rolling. So, we're gonna have to come back to this. I will explain later on what is going on, but that is not good. That is not good. Okay, we need to go and find the airbag fault. Let's find the airbag fault before things get any worse. We'll come back to this. I found the issue here. Ready?
That could be the issue.
So this is the annoying thing, we're finding this more and more and more on cars, is that sometimes the wiring doesn't look broke at all because it still sits inside the tape, but I've literally just pulled that tape back, and that would explain why this crash sensor isn't working. So let's solder these back up, and that's one issue solved. At least we got one issue. The other one's slightly worse, but okay, solve this one. Luckily, this is a fairly simple issue to solve. I've just got to solder the 2 broken wires back together, put a bit of electrical tape around them, and then plug it back into the crash sensor. That's together. We should have an airbag fault down. Let's go check it.
Eczema isn't fair, and it isn't your fault. But with Ebglyss, people with...
That has gone. But we still have one left in the airbag. Battery interruption igniter. Resistance too low. I think that's a pyro fuse, but why does the car start? So I remember there being 2 pyro fuses on this car. I don't know why. I think we need to check underneath. Let's go and have a look underneath and see what that issue is, and we should get all the airbag lights off the dashboard then, if we can solve this issue. The pyro fuse normally cuts power going to the starter motor, but this car still starts. Here, I think, is the battery igniter fuse thing. So this wire here went up and there's a pyro fuse in that box up there. But there's also like a separate fuse here. And I just wanted to make sure that this fuse was actually okay. So I tested the continuity on it. Oh, yeah, we're good. Okay, that has a connection. So that fuse hasn't gone. But, and the fuse, the pyro fuse can't have gone because the car starts, because this, I'm sure, goes up to the pyro fuse and then to the starter motor. Previously when I took the car apart, I remember there being a pyro fuse hidden just above the battery, as you can see here. But all of it works, and that's what I can't understand. Look, this is literally a Mercedes pyro. But the fuse isn't blown, but there's whether it's faulty or something. I'm gonna leave the plug off for that pyro and put the ignition on in the car again. And then if I get a new fault, then I know that it's not this pyro and it's got to be the other one up there. But if I don't get a new fault, then it's got to be this thing in here that's got an issue. So I'm not going to plug back in the fuse that's directly on the battery, and we're going to see if anything's changed with the fault codes. What we're looking for is hopefully the same fault, because we've just unplugged it. So if that fuse is gone, essentially it thinks it's unplugged if the fuse is gone. So let's see. Oh, it is that fuse, because now we've got battery resistance too high, and when we plugged it in it was too low. So it is that fuse. Why that is gone but everything still works is still baffling me. I don't know why, but we're gonna have to order one of them and see if we can fix it. For now, let's plug it on and we'll take it out, drive it, and see if it clears any of the other faults that we've got on. We've still got all the transmission ones. I can't seem to clear the transmission ones, but we'll see. Let's take it out and we'll see if any of the faults disappear, especially the transmission ones. We know what we need to order so far, but we're going to come back to that engine control module fault. Right, let's connect it all back up. This is now a huge moment. Everything we've done so far is now about to be tested. Splitting the car in half, fixing the broken gearbox mounting, putting the car back together, repairing the interior, fitting the airbags, making the radiators, the front end, even the exhaust, are all about to be tested for the first time properly. Because I'm about to take the Bugatti for its first proper drive since the accident. It's a bit of a nerve-wracking moment, and Alex isn't here, but a mechanic should always test drive the car before giving it to a customer. This is my first time ever driving a Chiron as well, and it's like this.
This is crazy.
This is going to be mad. Okay, let's do it. Let's make sure we're in drive.
Literally sounds like we're in a jet.
I will take it easy first. We've got no windscreen. Oh, it's driving smooth.
Is it? Really?
Oh, some of the lights come off the dash as well. Some of the lights come off. Traction's come off. Steering's come off. Oh, she's driving good. Oh, it's so smooth. It's scary as well at the same time. Literally, the car was in half. The car was in half, and I'm now trying to pull it apart again by driving it.
I can feel the blood coming out my feet and like flowing into my body. Jesus, that's so fast.
Artisano and grilled cheese. We're made for this.
Living with chronic migraine? 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours.
That was one hell of an experience. I've never drove a Chiron before, and that being my first ever Chiron to drive, what an experience that was. We're so close, like everything is coming together. We're hoping that's past the health check. Alex has missed out on this one, but we're trying to get it perfect for him for when he does drive it. We've got a few more mechanical things that we need to solve, like the airbag light, and there's one more thing which I'll show you guys towards the end of the video. I know Bugatti are watching this, and I am trying to do you guys proud on building a massive team up together to build all these parts up. Bob has literally manufactured this whole front end to fix against all odds, and we've managed to do it. We said we were going to do it regardless of whether we was going to get parts or not, and we're getting closer and closer. The fact it looks like that now, I think, is really cool. We do need to take it back inside and complete our health check to make sure that everything was all good. But something that is cool as well, to commemorate us driving this on the road for the first time, we have just dropped the HWBT shorts and the sports jackets as well. You can grab these on the hwbt.shop website at the minute, but they're only limited numbers, so once they are gone, they're gone, and it's perfect for summer. Let's get her inside and make sure everything is all good and there's no leaks, and we'll address the small situation, a little mistake that I made when putting this car back together. Let's get her inside. First thing we wanted to check is whether that gearbox mount was all good. I think it's passed the test.
From what I can see, it looks all good.
It looks good. You see this side? This side, look at that. And everything looked perfect. There's no, dare I say, no drastic leaks. Everything is looking good. It's looking so good so far, but there is one issue. And let me show you what we found earlier. Yeah, I've got the plug.
Got the plug?
But the sensor is wedged between this and the back.
That's really not good.
The only good thing is that I don't think it needs to come all the way out. The only bad thing is that I hope I haven't damaged the sensor. I guess that's what you get for splitting a car in half when you've not done it before. The sensor we're on about is right here. And the way that sensor's twisted at the sort of 10 pass position, it needs to be at around the 25 minutes to position, if that makes sense. But we should have seen that. Should have seen that. It is. Oh, it's fully wedged. There's got to be a way we can unwedge that. I don't think the car's got to come all the way apart. I think it could come a bit, but still, to make it a bit apart, we've got to disconnect a lot to do that. So the only way to fix that issue and get to that sensor, it seems like we're going to have to split this car apart again. Or at least only just a little bit. We could maybe undo all of the bolts. You can't just undo one side because you're going to be leaving it against the other. So maybe we're going to have to undo all the bolts just a tiny bit, just to give that little separation to get that sensor out. If it is broken, we can replace it, because I'm sure it's going to be the same on any Volkswagen. But mistakes happen, and we've got the time to do it. We'll probably tackle that over on the second channel, so if you want to head over there to subscribe. If you're not subscribed to this channel already and you're watching the videos, please do it. The subscribe button is below this video. It's completely free. Thanks so much for watching this video. I've enjoyed this one. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.
people that arrive in our island and we think are gods.
Oh.
Like we did that with the Spanish, we did that with the gringos.
Is he lying?
Yes.
Chat, is he lying?
No, that's true. It's cultural, chat.
It's cultural?
Berenjena in chat. Put the berenjena.
Hey, now I got. Alu.
That was a weak part, bro.
Yo doy Messi, delegado. Ronaldo.
Turn this way for the lighting. Yeah, I'm just turning on. I'm just putting on my socks.
You did your thing. You did a thing in the movie.
Chat, let's go. This is 3.5 million, baby. All right, look. Where's it gonna go though?
It's gonna go through the tubes, and then it's gonna enter through here. Boom.
Like up in the sky, right?
You can do it up in the sky.
Is it safe?
It is safe.
You sure?
I've done it. I do this. I'm a content creator. I do this. I've done it a lot of times. Okay?
All right, chat.
You gotta press it 30 seconds.
All right, come on. You ready? Do it in the air though. I ain't trying to hit nothing.
It's in the air. It's in the air.
We about to.
I'm gonna tell you.
What is this called?
Plasma cannon.
Plasma cannon in Puerto Rico.
Let's go.
You ready?
You're gonna press it 30 seconds. Press it and wait 30 seconds to recharge it off, okay?
I'm scared, bro.
Then when it charges, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna press it again and leave it.
I'm scared. I ain't gonna lie.
Want me to do it?
Yeah, you do that first. You do it first.
No, me happy. Let's go. Hazlo.
I want to see what it do. I want to see what it. Shoot it in the air though.
The air, you're not gonna see much because it's daylight, but you're gonna hear it, okay?
Let's
go, avanza.
Can I get a countdown speed?
3. Yeah, no, you know what? Let me do it.
Okay, you're gonna press it and then press it. You go press it halfway, then press it all the way.
Okay.
Okay, put the finger there. All the way now. Now put it all the way.
Let's go.
All the way. No, just.
What the hell was that?
Bro!
What the hell was that?
Bazooka cannon, yo!
Oh, hell
here crazy.
No, we out.
Let's go, pleasure, bro!
Oh, hell no.
No, this way. That way.
All right, chat, let's go. Hey, chat is crazy in Puerto Rico, bro. So much traffic.
Try a whole world of delicious Dunkin' refreshers.
Wireless can feel like a world of surprises. Don't fall for the trap. Get a fresh start.
Right now. I'm about to get off. I know how to shoot. Birthday today, but this is the design. Somebody designed this for the manga because nobody knew what the colors looked like, so they guessed the colors. Turn around. Oh, that's hard though. That's so hard, bro. Cállate! Our family.
Bro, that's like the place you
love hot sauce.
Do it with.
Chat, I might gotta stop. I think I just ate.
Yeah. Oh! Let's go!
Oh, he gave you the Rock Lee?
Let's go, the mic guy. Let's go, Chad. Come on, I got the mic guy.
Survive.
You need help finding a spot? I got you, bro. It's beautiful, man. It's close, you know, like in Miami, like it's a 2-hour flight.
Yeah, I know.
You're here in the moment.
I heard the taxes here are good too.
You're in paradise in a few moments.
Oh, yeah.
Open up, space.
Like Sue and just beats you on a push-up.
All right, bet.
Run it.